we're all in it together, that there's no separated pockets that aren't impacting each other. Healthcare is a global issue. I think we've also learned that we can leverage technology and make a difference.
Hi everyone, we have with us here today Walter Greenleaf, a neuroscientist and a medical technology developer working at Stanford currently, to talk to us about the future of technology in healthcare. Welcome, Walter.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited you had the time to join us today. I think before we get started on the true substance of our conversation today, I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit about your journey here. I understand there's a healthy dose of entrepreneur and academic in you.
That's correct. I've had the opportunity to have many adventures in my career, several incarnations of different aspects of it. At a foundation, I'm a scientist. I'm a research scientist focused on mental health and behavioral medicine. But I'm also a technologist. I do a lot of work in wearable sensors and virtual reality and augmented reality technology. Been working in that area for more than 35 years. So it's an exciting time for me to see it finally transition out and be used in important areas like healthcare. And I'm also a business person. I've had the opportunity to start and bring forward several medical product companies.
Some of those themes, especially when you talk about mental health, so thematic in the world today, right, in the context of such volatility.
Yeah, unfortunately, not just the pandemic that we've had, of course, which I think is going to have a lot of downstream effects on, especially on our children, as they move up and grow older. The experiences that we all went through will have a profound impact on them and their mental health issues, but also the world we're in today is there's a certain amount of hecticness, there's stress from global warming and conflict. So mental health is becoming more and more an important issue.
Yes, of course. Just thinking through the past couple of weeks even, I think in the Bay Area there's been so much volatility in financial markets. I certainly see tech going through this giant shakeup. We're seeing, medical and pharma companies start to operate in consumer markets increasingly. All across the board, companies are starting to invest in digital health. Where do you see the evolution of this industry and this convergence of almost healthcare with consumer technology heading?
Well, first of all, I think you're absolutely right. The continents are colliding. What used to be pharmaceutical, medical device, health providers, health insurers, those were the major players in our health and wellness arena. But now the tech titans are coming in, Apple, Google, Samsung, and also groups like Amazon and Walmart. So where we do healthcare and how we do healthcare is changing, and I think for the better. We've had a challenge with reaching underserved populations. We've had a challenge addressing certain healthcare indications that have been just difficult to manage, and the technology that's moving in right now is going to make a tremendous difference, providing more equitable healthcare, more affordable healthcare, and I think more effective healthcare.
It's interesting you said that. Last year I heard, I think the CEO of Moderna talking very much about this topic of equity in health. I think the COVID pandemic just showed us how much inequity existed, especially in that context with access to vaccines. And they were talking about how they plan to implement some of these learnings, everything in how they develop algorithms to capture data to then look at access and distribution. Do you have any thoughts on sort of what went wrong and what could we do better next time?
The couple important things that we've learned is, one is we're all in it together, that there's no separated pockets that aren't impacting each other. Healthcare is a global issue. I think we've also learned that we can leverage technology and make a difference. Telemedicine had been sort of used episodically and in different ways before the pandemic, but we had to surge into that to do so many things. And we now know that the center of care doesn't have to be the hospital, it doesn't have to be the clinic, it's wherever the individual is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's maybe dig deeper into the topic of technology in healthcare, right? Obviously, you've done a lot of work in the space of virtual reality and its applications and implementation in healthcare. What do you think some of the most promising applications of VR in healthcare and medicine are and could be?
Oh, it's hard to choose because there's so many ways we're making a difference with the application of what we call immersive technologies, VR and AR, and mixed reality technologies. I'll just name a few: stroke and traumatic brain rehabilitation, helping plan a surgical procedure, and overlaying the surgical operating field with that plan for neurosurgery, for example. Helping people with addictions learn to manage their cravings and to have situational confidence so they can resist peer pressure. Helping people on the autism spectrum recognize the emotional status of others and learn how to respond and interact with them. Helping people with Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases, helping them be able to, and helping us support them. And then I think in mental health, just being able to have objective measurements of someone's status. All too often with both some pharmaceutical therapies or other therapies that we provide, we're not able to see if they're working. Sometimes they're not working and are causing a problem. We don't find out until later. But with today's technology, we can both do better assessments, better therapies, and have more objective measurements of cognitive and emotional status.
Right, and maybe if I was to just prod a little further and say, is there an example of a company or a product that you think has been operating in this space and that has been able to have sort of a formidable impact on patient outcomes?
There's many, but one that comes to mind is the company Penumbra. They have a division that is focusing on using virtual reality for stroke rehabilitation, traumatic brain injury recovery, but also now they're moving more into mental health and wellness. And I think it's going to have it is having a tremendous impact. Another company is Interaxon. They make a wearable headband that has sensors on it for capturing EEG, a brain signal, also heart rate variability, other biosignals. They use that to help people learn to manage stress and anxiety. And it's also being used now clinically to help with better diagnostics of sleep disorders, for example. So there's so many companies that are embracing technology and moving it forward and helping us address problems that we've had trouble addressing before.
Right. And as you know, at Soft Matter, we believe we operate at the intersect of soft goods and smart technologies and integrating that into products that just are more wearable, can deliver more function over time, just elevate the human experience almost, right? What role do you see or feel that textile technology can play in sort of these products and portfolios that are being created right now?
Well, I'm very excited about the role that textiles can play. Part of it is that we need to have a more precise approach to medicine. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, we need to dynamically change the therapies that we're providing based on the individual's response and behavior. But it's a burden onto the individual if you have to fill in a form or type something into your cell phone. And again, we need objective measurements. So weaving sensors into clothing, collecting data passively and giving feedback to the individual and to maybe the clinical care team, so important. I also think we need to be able to not just provide better therapies by using wearable sensor information and dynamically change them, but also I think we have to make the healthcare journey a little bit more fun. So we can, by getting the individual to be part of, let's say, a virtual reality-based game that might be helping them exercise or connecting with other people in some way. And to do that, we need to measure things, movement and body signals, and clothing is the best way to do that.
Well, we're glad you think so.
I'm very excited about it.
That's really what keeps us going, right? And I think our purpose at Soft Matter is to redefine what technology looks like and feels like, to create positive impact. And that's one of the mantras we try to work towards. You know, no conversation about technology would be complete if we didn't talk about some of the more ethical constraints and challenges as well, right? And that ranges from everything to do with data privacy and security to do with patient data. On the other end of the spectrum, you know, you spoke about addiction and just, you know, living in sometimes these immersive worlds can go down a path that could lead to addictive behaviors. Is there an approach that you feel technology developers need to follow, or considerations we need to keep in mind as we start to create these new-to-world products and services?
There's a couple of things that we really have to pay attention to. One issue which we've already addressed a little bit is making sure that we design to reach everyone. And it's all too often in today's world of machine learning and large data sets, which give us tremendous power in terms of diagnosis and therapies, they can be biased. So if we don't collect those data sets in a very complementary way and screen for making sure we reach people from different age groups, different cultural backgrounds, different economic levels, we need to be aggressive at making sure the data we use for our pharmaceuticals, for our medical devices, for our diagnostic systems are not biased. And that's a hard thing to do, and we have to be careful to do that. The other issue, of course, is now that we're getting better at understanding people's emotional state by looking at facial expressions or voice tone or movement, and that gives us tremendous power diagnostically and therapeutically, but it also could be used the wrong way. So we need to make sure that advertisers aren't targeting us based on understanding our emotional state and approaching us at a weak moment. But that technology can be used the right way, but I think we have to be proactive about it. And then, of course, the issue of just making sure all this data is safe and secure. That's really paramount.
Of course. All right. Well, probably last question for you. Based on what you know about the space and the developments ongoing, if we sort of look forward to the next decade, what would you really like to see either being invented or just more accessible and commercialized at scale?
Well, one of my favorite quotes from William Gibson is the expression, "The future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed." We have amazing things going on at some of our academic research centers that can make a big difference. So what I'd like to see is us leverage technology. And again, we talked about the fact that the consumer electronic companies and others are coming into healthcare. I'd love to see us do a better job of getting what we already know makes a big difference out there and in use. And of course, I think because we do need to pay attention to mental health care, and especially with an aging population, we need to make sure we can design to support people and help them stay healthy at home and get a little bit ahead of the curve by, helping us do the things that we know we need to do, which is exercise, better sleep, nutrition, etc. And I think leveraging good design, we can find ways to help people be aware of what they should be doing and give them, leveraging what our colleagues in the gaming industry and the movie industry, entertainment industry know how to do. Find pathways to make healthcare not a horrible, scary burden, but actually something that we're actively participating in throughout our life course. So that's where I'm hoping technology can go.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to continuing this dialogue with you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
So I've enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.